Welcome to SteamLUG Cast, Season 3, Episode 14. This is recorded on the 24th of July 2015. With me I have Bean.
Hello.
And Hero.
Greetings.
So, what have you guys been playing? How about you, Bean?
Let's see. It's been a mixed bag this week. I played on the casual side of things. I played some Nimble Quest, Adventure Capitalist, which is it's a clicker game. There's no way around it, but it's nice. You can let it idle and while you're doing other things. Some Guns of Icarus Online, Postal 2, because finally, after 2 years, Running with Scissors has finally taken this 10-year-old game and applied the same updates they've been adding to Windows for the last couple of years to the Mac and Linux versions. So, updated graphics, there's new DLC even. So I've been playing a little bit of that. I'm looking forward to getting through Apocalypse Weekend again. And also been playing Starship Rubicon, which is this kind of asteroids FTL hybrid with a bit of shipbuilding. You pick up components as you fight aliens in different sectors. That one's pretty clever. I'm enjoying that. So, Hero, what have you been playing?
Well, right after the last cast, I played some paintball, but that was in real life, not a video game. So, messed around with Storm United, fixed an issue that I had. It turns out that if I try resizing the window, I believe, if I make it full screen, then that ruins everything. But if I bring it back to windowed, it fixes everything. I can make it freeze or unfreeze at a whim. I've also been playing some Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Some friends invited me to play competitive, and I couldn't because I didn't realize that you now need to have enough experience before you can do that. So grinded out that experience and played a few games of competitive. It was pretty fun. I'm getting way better at it, so pretty cool. Also played some Rust. They've had a gigantic update, and there's a lot of new content. Started building a house, and that was it. How about you, Dorita?
Yes, my name is Dorita, which I totally forgot to mention. But I didn't play much. I only got to briefly play the intro bits of Portal Stories Mel, which seems quite competent so far, but I have not really dug into it deep enough to make a final judgment call. And I played some of the latest update of Pulsar Lost Colony, and suddenly the enemies actually manage to kill you.
Oh, interesting.
This game is coming along nicely and should be entering public beta rather soon, so keep your eyes out on this one. It's really it's a keeper, a getter, whatever.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the...
So what kind of game is it?
Let's just say it's first-person cooperative FTL, kind of like Guns of Icarus if the co-op mode was already out in space.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, sold.
The way I see it is it's Guns of Icarus, FTL, and Artemis crossed. And it really is coming along nicely.
Yeah, it's so many things have changed already. Asset quality has gone way up, audio has gone way up. It's really progressing nicely. It has been steadily progressing since the Kickstarter campaign succeeded. And it's early access alpha stuff done right. You get constant updates regularly, always a good update log with it, and it's progressing.
And they do video logs as well, so you can see all the new stuff right away when they release it. Now, the last time that I tried launching that, I had some audio crackle. Did you experience that, Dorita?
I did not experience that outright, but I could basically toggle it by any event that made the window lose focus. So yeah, it has some issues right now. I guess they will be fixed, but that tends to happen in such an early state.
Yeah, it's early access. It's still cool.
So, moving on to SteamLUG community stuff. Past events. We had Distance after the last cast, and... What is that? Okay, let's do this again.
Yeah, okay.
It was interesting. Okay.
Distance after the last cast, and some people were playing Coffin Dodgers after that, where you race as old people to escape death, and the ones that lose come back as zombies. And it's not one bit cynical, is it?
Yeah, so there's some of us playing Distance, the younger ones, of course, and then some of the older community members jumped into some Coffin Dodgers.
We did, right.
It was a little ridiculous.
We sent the kids off to their own table, and we said, okay, we're going to go play over here. And, just the great thing about Coffin Dodgers, I'm like, wow, this is kind of like real life. This is preparation. It's fantastic, but it's a kart game like
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart or any other, and it's just a blast. It's one of those things I can see where the single player campaign probably isn't all that. It might not be as much fun as but multiplayer is a blast.
So, lots of racing happened that day. Demoter was streaming it to Hitbox. He has a recording for anybody that wants to watch it, along with some maybe inappropriate jokes.
Those are the best jokes.
Guilty.
Then, the day after that, we had a Dota 2 Reborn beta event playing custom games. I was able to be there for a very short period to help organize it. I know they were playing some co-op mods at the time. And then that Sunday, there is a event scheduled last minute by Demoter, which was for 7 Days to Die. He was really excited about the new update and had a server up so they could play it.
Have you guys been playing it? Either of you?
7 Days to Die?
Yes.
I've played it a little bit.
I'm still on the fence about that one. I'm not at all into the whole survival game craze, but this has me at least slightly intrigued.
That one, for me, it's a little bit too close to Minecraft. And it's not quite ready yet. I mean, it's early access, but it's cool.
I think for me, I don't want to build the playground. I just want to play in it. And so those kind of games don't really appeal to me because I don't really want to have to build everything. That just not interested in that.
So, our main game, it seems, also had an appearance. Guns of Icarus Online, and you crazy fools played for 3.5 hours straight.
Yeah, that was... I was actually out of town, so I wasn't able to attend that, but I remoted into my desktop so that I could spectate.
Yeah, and I don't think this was our longest Guns of Icarus event, and I think we played longer during some of the what we call the practice sessions. But it's always fun when we have the weekend events for this because we get more people and we get new players in there. Like when you mentioned Pulsar earlier, Guns of Icarus is another game where it's very, very, very focused on teamwork. There's no reason playing solo doesn't work very well. You have to everyone has to coordinate together. It's wonderfully. I like the way that game is done.
Yeah, it's good fun, even just spectating.
And our last event on the list is Dying Light, which did not actually happen. Because I was responsible and showed up late. So if anyone was there and did not find the game, I'm totally, totally, totally sorry. We will try this again and I will not zone out and forget all about it. Maybe.
Whoopsies. Hopefully next time it'll be when I can attend as well, and then we can both be there late. I mean, on time.
So after the cast, what we got? Chivalry, Medieval Warfare.
Yes, we do, in fact.
And then tomorrow we've got Blaze Rush, and next week we'll be playing Synergy.
Synergy is always good fun.
Were you in there the last time we had the Synergy event? I think there were like 12 of us in there, and it was a lot of box stacking, and
I might have missed that one.
it's always chaos. This should be fun. I'm all about chaos.
You'd say you're an agent of chaos?
I wouldn't say that.
The most fun part is when you get the Dune buggy and you team up in the cars and your single purpose is to catch somebody off guard who is your co-driver, drive towards a cliff and jump out at the last moment. That's the entire purpose of that co-op mode.
So many trolls, gosh.
That's just good fun.
Moving straight onto tech news, because other news have been, community news have been a bit slow, and Steam or Valve have not been moving all that much.
No, but there is one thing that I did want to touch on for the Steam news. For anyone who's actually using the mobile authenticator and is in the mobile authenticator beta, probably already seen this anyway, but finally their two-factor authentication does not require that you be logged in on the mobile client to get a code. So I don't know if you guys remember in a past cast we mentioned that one of the things I had said was that it would be nice to have the authenticator app separate from the mobile client itself. Part of the reason was because it's the idea you didn't want to have your credentials in there already and then have to generate a code. So now it actually opens up, presents the code just like any other authenticator app.
Sweet.
So it's at least a step in the right direction. I'd like to see it maybe integrate with other authenticators, but at least for now we've got this.
I would love to have some kind of certificate-based authentication for Steam instead of that. I am not a fan of having codes sent to my mobile device.
Well, thankfully in this case, it's not actually. I mean, it's my tablet, but it's Wi-Fi only, because I also don't necessarily care for having everything tied to my mobile device.
So instead, it goes to your other mobile device. Hooray!
In tech news, Readers, the lead Godot developer, spoke at RMLL, the Libre software meeting in France, to introduce people to the Godot engine.
Yeah, so
I have not actually seen that, but I'm very interested. Please tell me more, Hero.
I watched the video. It's basically just an introduction to the Godot engine, and it's a fairly technical conference, but it's not specifically for game development. So just talking to a lot of open source enthusiasts about how the Godot engine works, and shows some examples, some of the capabilities that the engine has, as well as having a Q&A session afterward. So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Most of the stuff for me wasn't new because I have some experience with the engine already, but for anybody that's interested in it, that's a nice little run through, and it's recent, so a lot of the new features that have been getting into Godot are mentioned in there, or at least showcased.
And on one cool note, the Mesa Git has finally reached GL 4.1 for NVCO, which is NVIDIA, as you might take from the name. Their 500 generation is like the latest card in that specific driver. But yeah, GL 4.1, and first of all, in the NVIDIA open source driver of all things.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. Didn't really expect that.
I actually totally expected that because in recent years even I have been paying some attention to the feature list of Mesa, and always noted that specific NVIDIA driver had the most extensions checkboxes ticked
Oh, okay.
of all the drivers. It's like, oh, the AMD open source driver is so great, so much better than the NVIDIA one. For more recent cards, yes, but on some of the older cards, it's at least as good.
Interesting. Of course, not so many people know about that because they'd rather just use the proprietary drivers.
Which is understandable, but
I mean,
many people still have these old cards lying around and not having to worry about driver availability because it's right there in the kernel and up to date, fully featured.
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
You were saying, Bean?
oh no, it was just that you already made that same point. Was just that if you have that older hardware, this is fantastic because now you don't have to worry about NVIDIA doing it, which would be never.
So, moving on to general gaming news. Guns Vigorous, our unofficial official game of SteamLUG, they've announced the name for their new co-op expansion. It'll be Guns Vigorous Alliance, and it's now available for pre-order on the Humble store. So, this kind of hints that the expansion should be coming soon, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, there's a hint like right in the last 3 seconds of the video. If you watch it, it's fantastic. I mean, the art style doesn't quite match the in-game style. Still very cool, and it kind of highlights that they have a bigger plan, and it's not just supposed to be kind of this multiplayer skirmish game.
Right, they want to have lore and all that.
But the last 3 seconds of the video says co-op 2014.
So
I don't know, maybe
Isn't that like the video from the co-op Kickstarter campaign, maybe?
that's the one.
well,
And so my thought was just simply, for such a wonderful game, and they're really looking forward to I don't know. I just would have thought, hey guys, would you really want to throw out there that this was supposed to be? You'd hope to have it done.
there's also new game modes, new ships and weapons, and a greater variety of enemies that should be released with this.
Oh, I'm very excited about this. I mean, this is finally player versus environment. The idea of ships coordinating together to fight off fleets of airplanes as well as these big battle cruisers. This is going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just was kind of saddened that that the trailer for it still says 2014.
It happens.
I just would have thought it would be nice for them to make a new trailer and say, hey, let's just update this a bit and show where we are. That kind of thing.
So, it seems like the Alien Isolation port might be done by Feral Interactive. They have put out a new teaser which states terror is a best laid planned, with a cat's eye in the background, and Google reveals that it is from David Bowie's Loving the Aliens song. So, with all the recent SteamDB activity, this seems to be a safe guess.
Oh, you know what? I'm hoping this is it. Because I'll admit, I had almost little to no interest in the game. I was like, okay, it's another survival horror thing. Let's just not get in there. But I watched Linux Zen play it for a little bit, and I was terrified watching him. So I'm like, you know what? I think maybe I might actually enjoy this more than I thought I would. So I'm really kind of hoping that it is Feral. Glad to see it's either Feral or Aspire. The other one would be great at this point. But I just want to take a second though to talk about that upcoming page where the hints are revealed.
The feral radar.
Anybody else think that is? Yeah. Anyone else think that feral radar thing is kind of like
A nuisance?
I don't. How do I put this? Never mind. Let's just skip it. Yeah.
It's poop on a stick.
Thank you. That's it's shit on a stickaroo is what that is. It's horrible. Hopefully if anyone else has the ability to go ahead and help them out and fix that, let's do something else. There's like got to be some better way to represent a radar without having to chase the dots all the time.
And so often when I'm perfectly hovering over the dot, I don't get the tooltip.
Yeah, the same. So it's horrible.
Also impossible to use on any mobile device.
It's so annoying. Yeah, that's right. You can't really move a pointer along.
Oh, that sounds like a game on its own.
That's even like laptops with a touchpad. It's pretty hard sometimes.
Aim here is doing it right. Just viewing the page source and clicking the image links in there.
Yeah, but I'm lazy. I mean, like lazy.
So there's been a pretty huge release by Aspyr. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yeah, I instantly snatched that up. It's currently... Is it still on discount? Yeah, it's like until the 28th or so.
Yeah.
25% off. It's an old cheap game anyway, but it's a classic. An unfinished classic, and they introduced lots of new updates for Windows as well, including Workshop, cross-platform, and the highly important and crucial restored content mod is on that Workshop. But it's sadly currently not working on Linux, and I'm waiting for that to be fixed. Hero, you have the details on what is not working?
Yeah, they suspect that it's a case sensitivity issue, and they submit a bug report to Aspyr. So hopefully that should be fixed in an upcoming patch. So other important things with this release is there's 5K support and widescreen support. So before the game was not natively widescreen, and that's a nice improvement. So yeah.
Yes. To point out why that restored content mod is so important is because the game was rushed to market. Obsidian didn't get to finish it, and the later passages of the game apparently do not even make logical sense without some of the content that has been cut.
Yeah, so anybody that likes old school RPGs and Star Wars should probably pick that up. It's pretty awesome.
I have to say I'm not really too interested in the game itself, but I find that exciting that not only were they able to kind of keep this game alive and keep it in at least make it run on modern systems, they were also able to go back and say, look, we're terribly sorry this wasn't finished, but now we have the opportunity to do this. So it's not just preservation, but almost like it's like a restoration as well. I'm really that part of it excites me, because maybe there are other titles that can happen.
To be fair, Aspyr had nothing to do with that content mod except for negotiating with the developers to get it on Workshop on launch day, because that mod has been around for ages. It's been an ongoing project.
Right.
But yeah.
I didn't mean to imply maybe giving credit to Aspyr for that. I just meant in general the idea that we can actually do that, because I mean there are games that are pretty much going to be lost at some point because we won't have the ability to reproduce the systems on which they ran. It's going to be interesting to see where we go. We already have
we will lose every single last game eventually that is not open source to the last bit. That is just a fact. At some point people will not care to keep the games running through some kind of obscure reverse engineering effort, or wrapping it in whatever many layers you will need with your spacey quantum computer in 100 years. But on the source code level, you can re-implement that for just about as long as you want. No sources, no game preservation.
So Terraria is an open beta for Linux. It was announced on their website that they'd hoped to have Mac and Linux out by the end of July. And what I appreciate about this is another one of those situations where I appreciate when developers say, okay, here's what we were hoping for. Right now, the experience is less than optimal. And we're not just saying that, we have to show you it's less than optimal. We're trying to make it good so that when it comes out, you don't have to be upset that we gave this to you and it didn't work. And I really appreciate that over the just kind of, well, it's not going to ever work. We're just not going to try anymore. And has anybody been playing the open beta?
I messed around with it a little bit, yes.
I briefly opened it up to see it working, and then I went to bed because it was way too late already. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing through all the new content again with a friend. We have played pretty much all the way to hard mode until we really couldn't bother with the grinding in that mode. And this will be the third time. And you know, the third time is a charm, or the one where you finally realize you will never get through hard mode.
Yeah, I joined into John Drinkwater's server yesterday for a little bit. So it's actually the first time I've ever played the game. It looks okay. I don't know. I'm comparing it to Starbound, which seems technically more interesting but has less content. So either way, it's really cool that they've had this release. Also, poking through the files a little bit, it uses FNA, and
A very fresh branch, like the latest one of FNA.
right, it's barely deviates from the latest FNA. So Flibbit, the author of FNA, has written a post on Google Plus about his examination of the port, and he was really excited about all this. So if anyone wants to go read that, talks about some of the changes they've made, as well as how you can profile your game so you can see how well it's performing, and some of the other features that the fact that they're using FNA allows. For example, you can play it on a Wii U gamepad if you have it available on the screen and use the controls to play.
But yeah, it's nice to see that it really seems to have become the drop-in solution almost for developers porting their XNA games. Minimal adjustments required. And I guess that was the entire goal, to be as accurate to the XNA spec as possible.
And they did have to make some changes, but still, it's pretty cool.
Apparently, there is another Humble Weekly bundle. I have the vague idea that they might be coming out every other week, or every week even.
That's interesting.
I don't know how. But yeah, this one actually has some Linux games. Outland, which was ported by Aaron Melcher.
Wait a second.
Aaron Melcher.
This is the Humble Jumbo Bundle 4, not weekly.
Oh yeah, it's actually... Okay, then every other week was right. I cannot keep track of all these bundles anymore.
That's okay.
So, there was Outland, ported by Aaron Melcher, which we had on the cast before. That was a very nice and interesting interview. This man has some serious experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And also Mercenary Kings, which is a new port by already mentioned Flibbity G by Bo.
Yeah, so other games that are included in that are the Stanley Parable, which is not on Linux at the moment, but it should be coming. The developer has recently posted on Twitter that he's working on it, and it also showed up in some people's libraries, but it's not quite ready yet. So soon we should have the Stanley Parable. It's pretty exciting. It makes me want to pick up the Jumbo Bundle a little bit. There's also The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 2, which the developers have said that they were going to port it to Linux, then said they weren't. Now it seems like they might. We're not really sure what's happening there.
Do not count on it.
Yeah.
Put that in the bin. It's not going to happen until there's definite proof.
As well as other games that we don't have reason to believe are coming to Linux at the moment.
No Moria, a Dwarf Fortress-like game, but with actual graphics, much like Towns, has been ported by Flibbit, yet again, and it's in early access, available on Steam. It's also in the Humble Weekly Bundle Simulators 4, along with Out of the Park Baseball 15 and Kill the Bad Guy. But let's focus on No Moria here. Has any one of you had experience with that game?
No, I haven't. I'm very interested in it though, especially looking at the website. I'm interested in this one.
Yeah, it does look very interesting. From what I can tell so far, it's still definitely very early in development, but it tries to have the depth of Dwarf Fortress, for example, the simulation throughout the entire game, and that's pretty interesting. And it's a little more accessible just because it's so much more graphical. The interface is a lot nicer to use.
Yeah, but this has been in early access for ages now. I remember it being in early access right along the time when Towns was in early access as well. I saw it on Dazura. Remember when that was a place to get Linux games? And yeah, I mean, this has been in the offing for a long time, but it actually seems to be progressing, and it has favorable reviews all over the place.
That's good. So if it's good to see. I always like to see progress on the early access titles. It's kind of sad when some of them kind of sit for a bit.
Speaking of progress on early access titles, Victor Vran has just released from early access, which is an action RPG that's a lot of people have compared to the Van Helsing series, so if you're interested in those but want a native Linux game, might want to look into this.
And it's been kind of a surprise hit, or not hit, at least people who play it are generally very favorable to it. And I don't think that has been the case with these incredible adventures of Van Helsing games.
I think the most interesting part to me is they tout how skill-based the gameplay is. It's not just level up and click the bad guy. It's you have to aim your shots for a lot of abilities and timing and stuff like that. For example, you can hit projectiles back towards an enemy. That's goes beyond what most action RPGs would do.
So
Somebody do that one.
I was just getting to it. Magic Circle's now available for Linux. Magic Circle has a demo available. It's a game about being inside a game that has been abandoned by the developers.
It's not abandoned. It's like the game that you are playing is not done because the developer doesn't want to release it. They want to continue adding features. They say it's not ready yet. So you're sort of playing against the lead developer. But there's someone else who's trying to assist you in either completing the game, making it so that the game is finished and can be released, or canceling the game. So it's like the game that you are in needs to be done.
Interesting.
Yeah, a unique concept to be sure.
Maybe it is very much a biographical game in some way.
Perhaps it's just the infinite feature creep. Except this game is actually released. So.
Yeah, but there might have been other games before that one.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah. Since we're running a bit short, let's have an impromptu discussion.
I like those.
You know that time during the summer where just no games release? I don't think we actually have that on Linux now. If you see games like KOTOR 2 releasing now, and Shadows of Mordor should be coming any day now, and who knows what games. It seems like being on Linux means we get more spread out releases throughout the year.
That's a new benefit we should start telling people about using Linux.
Yeah, if you use Linux, you don't get the games on day one, but when you get them, they are more done, cheaper, and they spread around the year much more nicely.
And they're less likely to be pulled off the market because they don't work.
Right, yeah.
Holy Batman!
Yeah, the last fortnight has been really nice, like 2 major releases in Terraria and KOTOR 2. A lot of excitement.
So yeah, but that's all we got out of that topic. So, let's wrap this up. You have been listening to SteamLUG Cast. You can give us all the feedback you want via our email, which is cast@steamlug.org, or via IRC, which is #SteamLUG on irc.freenode.net. I just want to be cool with the kids.
Yes, please harass us there.
You are pretty cool.
There you go. Wait.
We are also on Twitter @SteamLUG, and on Google Plus SteamLUG, and on YouTube, you have guessed it, SteamLUG. Our branding is the best branding there is.
Oh my.
So, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Bean. Thank you, Hero. And goodbye.
Thank you, Dorita.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.